Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons and our Houston Texans franchise here with Madden 21. And we are now in week 10. We suffered a brutal loss last week to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, I know I've mentioned it before, possibly switching to All Pro. I'm just going to continue to refuse to do that in my own head. If the same type of thing happens where we're getting solid hits, no one on the CPU's fumbling, um, we somehow, no matter what we do, are always way out of position, I might end up changing that. I still haven't really decided. I'm kind of on the fence because I don't want to change it and have it be way too easy and then we just start winning constantly, because that's not realistic at all. So that is still something I'm looking at. I have not done it yet, and I'll just show everybody. Yeah, see, still all Madden simulation. So that's what it's going to be at. Alright, so for this game, we are going to be taking on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Once again, playing away from Houston for the second straight week. And we have to deal with a couple of X-Factor players that they have on their side. Let's see. How do I want to handle Myles Garrett? At this point, I'm not going to worry about him. He's going to make his plays. That's just kind of a given. So we're just going to make sure we win the game. That's all I really want to do. And then we also got to deal with, what's his name? Nick Chubb? Or is that the guy for Denver? Yeah, Nick Chubb. That's who it is. We're going to try to slow him down. Right, he's going to get yards, but I think if we pull the slow him down maneuver, which is probably just hold him to one or fewer rushing touchdowns, that gives us a little bit of leeway for us to still be able to meet our goal as long as we win the game, and allows that to be kind of still a focus for us. Alright, so big thing, I am going to see, Zach Cunningham got hurt last game. I'm still not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and sign Garyon Conley. Now it says he's asking for 5.84 over 2 years. I'm going to extend him out since he's 25. I'm going to see if I can't keep him till he's 29. Now that does mean I will have to pay him a little bit more, but hey, that's going to be worth it because I think we can get some development out of him. He's already a 77 overall. So within a year, he'll probably be, my guess is close to an 80. If at some point we're probably going to get a superstar development up on him, or at least a star development. So let's see if he accepts our offer. Got the deal done. All right. Good to know. Tyquan Lewis, I like how he's been playing. He's 25. I needed to try to see. He's still a 71 overall. And I don't want to regret not signing him, but I think I really need someone better than that. So what we're looking at, Vernon Hargraves, Zach Cunningham, and probably, I don't even know about Dylan Cole anymore at 26. But it's most likely going to be Zach Cunningham and Vernon Hargraves are going to be the only other players we're going to sign this season before we get to the final period. But we'll take a look at that later on. And let's going to do some scouting. So we've always been having defense be a big point of focus for us. As you can see, we have a lot of defensive tackles, linebackers. We haven't looked at the right ends because there's not really much there. And we haven't looked at our left ends yet, which is probably what we need to do. Because it says an A+, but that's only because we have J.J. Watt. And like I said, I don't have that many picks. I'm going to try to get something whenever free agency comes at the end of the season. But that's kind of what we're going to look at. Maybe trade up, get us, first, and try to get another first-round pick if we could. At least maybe try to get something second. And yeah, after the three first rounders, there's not much left in this group. Can't be too shocked about it. But if we could, that'd be great to try to get one of these guys. Fill in for J.J. Watt, leaving us able to, I don't know, trade him in the future, or just let him play out his contract, and hopefully he just retires as a Houston Texan. So that's where we are at right now, and we are going to jump into this game here at First Energy Stadium, facing off against the 5-3 Cleveland Browns. And the Browns will get the ball to start our game here today. And they are 5-3, the exact opposite of us at 3-5. And they've had a pretty decent offense, as you can see, getting that first completed pass for 22 yards right over the middle. And against our defense, that's something that's always been an issue for us. And apparently it looks like it's going to continue to be. So we now have ourselves at another 1st and 10 on defense, trying to get some pressure with J.J. Watt. Going to be coming up the gut on this one. And they run the ball, and we are able to stop Nick Chubb just for a real short game after getting one, bringing up a 2nd and 9. And stopping Nick Chubb is one of our game day goals for the day, so maintaining him to 1 yard and as few as possible, but really it's going to come to keeping them out of the end zone. That's going to be our biggest thing. And Mayfield is going to roll to the left and is not going to be able to get very far using his feet, only gaining 2 yards before Merciless is able to drop him to the ground. And that is going to bring up our first 3rd down for the defense of this game. And it's going to be 3rd and 7. Mayfield will be alone by himself in the backfield. He takes the snap from the shotgun, and we don't really get a whole lot of pressure. He finds one of his players, Austin Hooper, wide open over the middle again for a big completion. He now has 2 passes for 44 yards. A little bit later in the drive, we have him at a 2nd and goal after a penalty, all the way backed up to the 14-yard line, and they will get just a little bit closer, bringing up a 3rd and goal from the 3. And these are always difficult. Do we drop people back? Do we give them, do we try to put the pressure on? Are they going to be able to hit those quick slants? These are all the questions we have to deal with. And he fires it into the end zone, but thankfully they do drop the ball, and that will force them to kick a field goal. And so on the ensuing drive, we will take over at our own 24-yard line. From the shotgun, we'll drop the ball off to Cobb coming across the middle on the slant. And he's going to get a big gain down the right side of the field, getting just past the 50-yard line to the Browns' 48. And that was a great play. Now we catch up a little bit later in the drive. We are at a 1st and goal at the 10. From the shotgun, Watson takes the snap and drops off the screen pass, but the Browns read it perfectly, and they would drop us for a big 5-yard loss to bring us to a 2nd and goal from the 15-yard line. And we didn't have a chance on that play. And so coming up, we are going to go 4 wide this time at our 2nd and goal. And we drop back for the pass, and we're going to take it off and run. We do get 1 block, but I didn't want to fumble it with Watson, so I went on ahead and slid down, and that brings us to the 7-yard line, giving us a 3rd and goal to go. Now hopefully we get enough people coming across to the right to spread out their defense to allow Cooks to get open over the middle. That's kind of our main shot here, and we do throw it to him anyways, even though he is perfectly covered, and they will intercept the ball. That'll be our first interception on the day. And they will take over at the 20-yard line after a pass that should not have been thrown. I went on ahead and tried it anyways, but that was a big mistake on my part. I have to play smarter. And on their 1st down play, they hand it to Kareem Hunt. I kind of forgot he was on their team. But he only gets a rush for a single yard. And that'll bring them up to a 2nd and 9 from their own 21-yard line. And we're going to get some pressure on Mayfield, causing him to roll to the right, and Merciless comes off his man, and he will get the sack. Big play by Whitney Merciless, bringing up a 3rd and 13 on that one. You can see we didn't want to give him the chance. Mayfield tried to give it his best with his feet. But I think, as everybody knows, and the police in Oklahoma know, he's not the fastest guy in the world. Just kidding. But seriously, he did get arrested.
And Mayfield will throw that 3rd and 13 pass incomplete, and that will result in a punt for them as they have to give the ball back to us, and we'll take over 42-yard line. Now on a 1st and 10, we make another dangerous pass, and luckily that one was not picked off and taken into the end zone. So now we have ourselves at a 2nd and 10, trying to figure out what to do. We try to run the ball since we do have DJ Jr. back. And he gets a good run for about 14 yards for us. And this is looking out to be one of our better rushing offense types of games, as he's already got 4 rushes for 23 yards. And that's one thing that we are needing to pick up a lot is our rushing offense. We haven't really had one much of all season. And apparently with his first game back, Duke Johnson Jr. is going to try to change that for us. And once again, with Watson, we missed that more or less open pass on the left side. It always seems like those bullet passes he really has no accuracy on. I'd hate to say it, none, but that's really what it is. So that's going to be a struggle. That's something we are going to have to get him to improve on. And now on a 2nd and 10, this time we do hit the tight end. Aikens coming across on the left side as he will pick up 8 yards, bringing up a 3rd and 2. And we're going to take this snap from the shotgun. So a 3rd and 2. We're going to fill wide, and we hand the ball off, and we're not able to get the 1st down. That would lead to a field goal, and we would miss that field goal. Now, thanks to a little bit of a recording snafu, we did miss out on the 2nd quarter, which saw 2 field goals and a touchdown by Cleveland and 2 touchdowns by myself. And actually a missed field goal at the end of the half as well. So kicking game is on point. But where we catch up with us is now at the start of the 3rd quarter, and we are trailing Cleveland 14-16. And this has kind of been our standard. We do enough to score some points, but just not quite enough to get the lead and win. But after that big run, we may be able to change that narrative today. That'll bring us to a 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. And Duke Johnson Jr. is having a great game so far today. Looking at maybe we might be able to get a 100-yard rusher, which would probably be the 1st or maybe 2nd time all season. And we're already into the 9th game. And so we could do drop back on the play action that time, and we hit Cobb, and he actually holds on to the football, giving us a big 1st down. Now a little bit later in the drive, we find ourselves with the 1st and goal at the 9. In the pistol formation, we are going to hand it off, and Johnson Jr. gets a little wiggle room in a hole and gets all the way up to the 3-yard line. And that'll put us now at 2nd and goal, 9 feet away from a touchdown. I've always been a believer, if you can't score a touchdown from this distance, you just don't deserve to. And for some reason, Madden had people in the back on their hands in the 3-point stance. But no matter, because we roll out to the right and we score a touchdown with Deshaun Watson, who feels like taking a nap apparently. And that will give us the lead at 21-16 now here in the 3rd quarter. And Cleveland will take over possession of the ball. And we are going to go ahead and get a quick stop on Nick Chubb there. We are playing him excellently. And that was Cole, our linebacker, who's up for a contract negotiation. I haven't decided if I'm going to re-sign him yet. But more plays like that, the more likely he is to get that contract. And he only has 4 tackles on the day, but I think 2 of them at this point have been for losses. And so that will bring up a 2nd and 9. And playing defense against the all-Madden quarterback is one of those really hard things to do, because even when we have guys covered, they always seem to just drop it off for completion. But thankfully that one doesn't go very far and only gets a couple of yards, bringing up a 3rd and 8. And this is a big 3rd and 8 for us. We need to get this stop to give us the ball back to change or to extend on our lead and to change momentum, to keep it pushing in our favor. And Mayfield will drop back, and he throws it to Hunt, who's going to get hit hard right at the line to gain, and they will give it to him as he picks up that 1st and 10. And so now they still have 1st and 10 from the 35. there. Mayfield's going to be back in the shotgun with Hunt in the backfield, going 3 wide or 4 wide with receivers and the tight end. And we're still not able to get any pressure. That's one thing that has been killing us in pass defense is we get 0 pressure on the quarterback. And you can't bring blitzes because they hit the quick slants. But if you can't get past with the linemen, they have all day. So then on the ensuing 1st and goal, a little bit later on in that drive, they hand it off to Chubb, who we really need to keep out of this end zone. And there he will take it down to the 1-yard line, bringing up a 2nd and goal. Once again, they come with a heavy set with Chubb in the backfield. And Mayfield takes the snap and hands it to Chubb, and he powers through to, oh man, that was brutal to see. And he will score. They do go for a 2-point conversion, but fail to get that. But Cleveland does now have the lead, 22-21. And on the first play of our next drive, we will run it up the middle and get 4 yards. And that's pretty good for us, setting us up with a 2nd and 6. You know, that's kind of always been our goal. We know we're not going to be a home run hitting team on the run. So let's just give ourselves 2nd and manageable, or even a 3rd and manageable down if we have to have it. So now from the pistol formation, Watson takes the snap and rolls it out to the left, and we're not going to have anywhere to go with that ball, so we just throw it away. You can see we have 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions on the day, and we are needing to play smarter football, and that unfortunately results in balls being thrown away instead of taking sacks and possible fumbling. And on the next play, we hit Cooks coming across, but he's not able to hold on to it, and he will drop that pass, forcing us to punt the ball back to Cleveland, and our defense is going to have to step up big after just allowing a touchdown drive. And they hand it off to Chubb, and he will get brought down by McKinney after causing only a gain of 4 yards. We've held him down in the yards, and he does have the 1 touchdown, but to get our game day goal, we need to make sure he does not get another one. That's going to be our big point. And they now have Hunt in the backfield next to Mayfield. And they'll hand it off to Hunt, and he's going to get stopped with nothing to gain on that one. Stopped by McKinney, who's got his 10th tackle for loss of the season. Although I don't think that stat's real. I'm fairly certain he actually has more tackles for a loss in the year. But once again, we'll take what we can get. And so now, with a 3rd and 7 from the 33, Mayfield's in the shotgun. He takes the snap. We get some pressure on him with Ejiofor. And Mayfield's going to get around and kind of trip and stumble down after gaining only a couple of yards on that play, but that will bring up a 4th down, resulting in a punt. And we will take over at our own 33-yard line. And we run the screen pass, and this time we have it pretty well passed up, but there's no blocking. And you can't really hold the sprint button down because then you're going to run right past your blockers like I did and get tackled. But we do pick up a 1st down, and we have the ball at the 47. And so now trailing by 1 point with 13 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. And we toss the ball off to Duke Johnson Jr. He's going to get a big gain and knock someone off with that juke and take it all the way down to the 34-yard line. What a big play on that dump-off pass. Now, a little bit later in the drive, we have a 1st and 10 from the 11. Still trailing by 1 point. Watson gets the ball, and he's going to take off. He sees the lane, and we run and dive into the end zone. And that will give us the lead, ladies and gentlemen. We will go for the 2-point conversion, and we'll fail to get it. But we do still lead 27-22. Browns, after having to punt the ball back away to us after their 3 and out. And we find ourselves here at a 1st and 10 from their own 32, and we get it down to the 27-yard line. What a great play to Fuller. We have 452 total yards on the day. Our offense is clicking. So now with a 2nd and 5, the 5-point lead for the Texans. We hand it off to Duke Johnson Jr., who's only going to get about a yard or 2, and that will give him over 115 yards in this game. He does have 20 rushes, so his rushing total is kind of high for the number of carries, but we've been trying to make that a point of focus for our team to take some of the pressure off of Watson. So now from the shotgun, we hit Fuller coming across on the drag route. He's going to take it down with his speed, and get all the way down to the 15-yard line. What a great play by Fuller, who's at 90 yards on 7 receptions. Now here we are a little bit later in the drive with the 1st and goal from the 1. And we hand it off to Junior, and he's going to get stuffed at the 3-yard line, tackled from a guy coming off the edge. Grant Delpit out of LSU, playing like a beast. So now we have ourselves a 2nd and goal from the 3, and I am hell-bent on running this ball in, trying to be man enough to push people around. That's what being a hog mile is all about, as I say. Being on that line, getting down and dirty with it. And we run it a 2nd time and get stuffed for no gain this time. So our rushing game has worked well in the open field, but in the tight closed-in field, not so much. So now we were thinking about taking it from the shotgun, but the 2-minute warning came, and we have to be careful with this. We need to get at least some points out of this possession. That's going to be our main focus. But if we can get at least a field goal, we have an 8-point lead, which means they cannot win. At worst, they could tie us. That's if we get the field goal. So here we are. We're going to line up with the heavy set in the pistol formation. And we hand it off again, and we break 1 tackle, but we are not able to break a 2nd tackle. And that Browns will call a timeout, and that will force us to kick this field goal. And that has been an issue for us today. We need to drive this one home. And we miss it off center a little bit, but we're close enough that we are able to go ahead and make it and extend our lead to 30-22 against Cleveland. Now they start calling some audibles, so we start changing some things up for us as well. Mayfield drops the ball off. Looks like Hunt in the backfield, and he's going to get tackled immediately, and they only have 2 timeouts, so they have to be careful with how they use them. So they go quick, and after that 2nd play, Mayfield's going to get sacked in the backfield. What a great play by our defense. Bernardrick McKinney with the sack. Could not ask for better. Now we have ourselves at a 3rd and 11 from their own 24. Mayfield drops back and throws it, and it's almost caught, but also knocked out of his way. Roby could have made a play. We could have ended that game right there. And so they will go for it on a 4th down. Only 11 yards is all they need to get the 1st down, so we're trying to be careful with the play that we picked to make sure we got something that's going to work for us. And we're going to come with Merciless off the outside. They start changing up the plays, so do we. And we are going to match them wit for wit. As Mayfield with the play action for some reason on a 4th and 11, and J.J. Watt comes through for us with a big sack, and that will give us the ball, and that will end the game, ladies and gentlemen. We have won here in Cleveland, taken one from them after coming from behind multiple times to get this win. We made our mistakes, still threw our interceptions. It's not what you want to see. It's not pretty. But the end result is about all we could ask for. And we did beat them stat-wise at 291 and 189 to their 227, and they only got 37 rushing yards. We got our game day goal. Mayfield hanging his head low, as well he should be.
And that will do it for that game, finishing off the Browns. Thankfully, we were able to hold on. It was not nearly as clean as I wanted, and the interception stuff is still a problem, and not because they're bad. Well, the first throw was risky. First interception was risky, I'll give you that. But the second one, I mean, he was open. The guy closed 30 yards in a second, which just seems like impossible. So there is still that issue to do. But with the 2 passing touchdowns and the 2 rushing touchdowns, Deshaun Watson did earn himself an upgrade. So, improviser, scrambler. We're going to go improviser because that's where he's highest rated, and let's just try to get him up. And I think at some point, if we continue to play well, hopefully we can try to get him to be an X factor. But we do have to turn a lot of stuff around for this season. Now our defensive end, Ross Blacklock. He had a pretty good game for himself. We will upgrade his run stopper because that fits our scheme. And next, Jalen Watkins, our strong safety. Only a 72 overall. Jeez. Man. Since we need the coverage, I'm still going to upgrade his hybrid. I think, tackling wise, he did pretty good today. So I'm not sure that's much of an issue, but we need coverage help. And he does get +3 for man coverage, +1 on tackle, and +1 for zone coverage. So that'll help us out, I think, a lot more in the long run. Tyquan Lewis. Caused a lot of issues for Baker Mayfield today. He's normally a run stopper. I'm going to keep him like that because he is our defensive tackle, and we need him to be up, a force up in the middle of that line. So he gets +3 block shedding, +1 play recognition. Not too shabby for a 72 overall. And then cornerback Phillip Gaines made himself a few tackles. But this is one of the things that we need, man-to-man coverage. Let's get that upgraded. He's just now a 70, so still nothing special. But at least we as a team are headed in the right direction on that. Let's see what we gained for beating the Cleveland Browns. 1,000 XP boost for the entire offensive line. Not too shabby. And now for holding Chubb to 1 touchdown. Held Chubb to under 4 yards per carry. We got the win. There you go. 1,000 XP for entire defensive line. This was a fat guy feast, as we call it. And we're going to go ahead and advance to the next week. And we'll check our standings here for the division, and we are right in the race. Our division's so shabby. Let me show y'all. Here we go. So shabby that the Colts are in first at 5-4, Titans 4-5, Texans 4-5, and the Jaguars 3-5-1. So we did at least get above the Jaguars finally. We still have 1 game against the Titans, and we still have to play the Colts twice. So those are going to be 3 big games, and I would probably say must-win games as well. So, but that'll be coming up here in the next few games. Right now, in our next game, we're going to take on the New England Patriots, and we'll see what unhappy receiver we have and why he's so miffed at us. And until then, guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe if you have not already, and hit that little thumbs up button if you liked our video today. And I will see y'all in the next episode. So as always, stay safe, and later, y'all.